So CT podcast listeners, we're finally joined by Adam Centorrino, our CEO at CT, and Andy Rankin, our Chief Customer Officer. Welcome, gents. Thanks so much for joining us.
Good to be here.
Thanks for having us, yeah.
So topic for today is customer experience and customer service. So Adam, the listeners haven't had a chance to have a bit of an insight as to why you started the business and what customer service means to you. So I'd love to get a bit of a history lesson.
So customer experience for me is the heart of what we do here at CT, because for me, when I first started CT, a lot of the industry was starting to offshore and was sending jobs overseas. And to me, back then, IT and customer service already couldn't go in the same sentence. So I could only see this getting worse. And so that's what the real inspiration behind starting CT was. It was an organisation that I felt really strongly about, making sure that everything we did was onshore here in Australia. And fundamentally, that we built a really good partnership with our customers, so that we just made sure that we had their backs, they had our backs, and we worked together to solve common issues. We just went above and beyond and made that part of our DNA and really focused on that. So, I mean, yeah, I was very inexperienced when I started, straight out of high school. I knew nothing about the world, really. I rolled up at the local accountant and said I wanted to start a business, and what was the next step. But fundamentally, I knew deep down that the passion had to be around customer experience, customer service. I must admit, I didn't have these fancy words of customer experience back then, but it was really fundamental to where we started.
Yeah, so Andy, you've been with the company now for quite some time, and you've played a key role in that customer service journey in that time. So explain to us sort of maybe where CT was 16 years ago to where we are today, how it's evolved.
Yeah, absolutely. The evolution of the way that we interact with our customers has been something that has constantly changed, as is often the case with evolution. But that underlying passion that Adam was talking about has always been there, and that is the foundation on which we've built on. But in terms of our ability to actually understand our customers better and provide not just the services in terms of the technical components of what we do, but rather what we do for our people and their people around that, that's where the evolution really lies. Our ability to understand what those organisations need and meet those requirements is where we've been really, really successful in having an experience for our customers that is unparalleled.
Yeah.
I think that's really where our passions have aligned really closely. No matter what, we're both very aligned on that customer journey and that customer experience, and doing the very best we can. And that's why we've had such a successful partnership, I guess, for so long. Definitely. I mean, despite me trying to get rid of him a few times, come push him out the door, come on, Endo, he's still around. So.
Yeah, no, not easy to get rid of. But no, the technology is the vehicle by which we deliver it, but it is that experience and that service that we very much have in common, and it's enabled us to be so successful in that space.
Yeah. So Ads, you're in the middle of high school, you're going through year 7, year 8, and you're school at the time, Loyola College, comes to you and says, we've got an IT problem. How did you turn that into a business that we have today?
Back in primary school, I had networked my primary school, and I was part of the team that, when I say team, it was a bunch of students. I think that they got us free labour to help them set things up. That was my first foray into computers and IT, and because I came from a school that was, or a primary school I should say, that was a bit far away from Loyola, I had one of the deputies come out and visit me, and she learnt from my primary school that I loved IT, and so she understood that I had this hobby. And so me being the only student coming from this primary school, I think Loyola tried to look after from a wellbeing perspective, and said that there's lots of opportunities at the college over time. Year 7, I was pretty placid. I was a normal student, just went about, had a normal recess and lunch. But by year 8, I'd grown a great relationship with the IT coordinator there and the tech. And he started to use me as his lackey, and then during school holidays I'd start to do more of the imaging and so on, and it just evolved from there, and my passion for IT just got stronger and stronger as the years went on. So I was really privileged to be given that opportunity back in high school. It is what made CT today. Right throughout high school, to be honest, I always said I wanted to be a forensic scientist until I learnt that I needed about 10 years of uni, I was done with education at the end of it. So finished up doing reasonably well out of high school, and went off to uni, where I lasted all of about 4 to 5 hours, and decided no more education for me. So decided I was going to start CT, and the rest is history, as they say.
Here we are, and 230 odd employees now, moving into building out national offices. You've got 100 plus managed services customers over that time. So you've obviously been very, very successful. How much of that do you think you could put down to customer service?
I think it's not about me being successful. I think it's absolutely a team effort. I wouldn't be where we are today without the team and the enormous effort that goes with it. I think the most important job of being a leader and CEO in my case is building a great team around you and making sure that they are on board with the journey. And we've had some great team members, both that are still with us and previous ones, and everyone's played a massive role in taking us on that journey. So customer service has been really important, and I think from the very early days, I always looked for people that had hospitality or some sort of retail experience to join our business, and that to me was fundamental and has been fundamental to our growth. I think the ability for our customers to relate and realise that we're humans as well has been really, really strong. That's what's led to the enormous growth over the years. And we're really privileged to be in the position we're in, where growth is fundamentally baked in. It's we've been doing it now for 16 years. Every single year we've grown from 25 to 35% year on year, and so we're really, really privileged to be in that position. But fundamentally, I think the most strong thing that I've said internally is that if growth impacts customer service, we need to slow down the growth or stop the growth, fix the customer service piece, go back to it, because that's fundamentally baked into our DNA.
Yeah. Andy, do you agree with that?
Absolutely. The only point of contention there in terms of what Adam said was the fact that he's championed this hospitality and retail experience idea, when in fact that was one of my initiatives. But no,
Sign of a true leader, take someone else's idea.
That's right. No, in terms of the way that we've driven the growth and the people as well, that experience, those interpersonal skills, that communication, it's the difference between an interaction with a customer that is really satisfying, right, for the customer, as opposed to one where you might get the details or the facts or the information across, but it's not an experience. It's just an exchange of information, right? And that seems like a very simple thing, and at its core, it really is, but it makes such a huge difference.
Yeah.
I hired him, right? And he's got hospitality or retail experience.
Funny enough, I've actually got hospitality and retail experience as well, so it is very much a common trend amongst the execs as well. I'm interested in hearing about why we chose to invest so heavily in getting the recognition, particularly around the CSIA award. So, Adam, can you take us through, what motivated you to nominate us for that, and how we've consistently nominated ourselves over the last 10 years, and then what the recognition of these awards has meant for yourself, and not only for the business.
Absolutely. So we've been really privileged to be part of the CSIA program now for 10 years. For the first 6 years of our business, to be honest, I was, as I said earlier, I was inexperienced and a novice straight out of school. So I didn't understand the fundamentals of business. I didn't understand the difference that great team members could make versus, whoever I could get for the price point we were trying to pay. And I really didn't understand the fundamental concepts or the constraints, I guess, that exist within businesses around making sure clients are really, really happy with the service. So we made so many mistakes in those first few years. The CSIA program really gave us an ability to benchmark ourselves against others and really learn from what others were doing great that meant that we could then improve on. It was very evident, and still to this day, it's very evident that I really never worked anywhere else, unless you consider high school working somewhere else. So I rely on feedback from others, feedback from customers, team members coming into the business and telling us what we're doing well and what we're not doing so well. And so the CSIA program, the real motivation behind continuing to be part of it every year is it keeps us hungry for improving that bar and that benchmark and making sure that no matter what, when we don't become complacent and think, yep, we're at the top of our game, we're the best, and that's it. I think it is going to be an evolution and an ongoing journey, and it's a great experience to keep driving that.
Yep. So Andy, we've won 10 years consecutively. So for the listeners out there, the CSIA Awards are the Customer Service Institute of Australia. We've won from 2013 to 2022. Is there a year that has stood out amongst those that you thought, oh, it's going to be tough, or we've done something exceptional during that time, and it felt that much more satisfying?
Yeah, I think there's probably two to answer your question. Our first entry in 2013, in terms of our result, where we were crowned best of the best there, was a little bit of a surprise for us. We certainly didn't go into it expecting that would be the result of those awards, but obviously very happy and pleased that was the case.
I was even overseas at the time. Like, we thought there's no way we're going to win this thing. So
I wasn't there representing CT. It was.
And this isn't just IT companies, right? This is all, like, we are up against other customer service.
That's
multinationals.
Right. Yeah. And that, to Adam's point about benchmarking ourselves against not just our industry but all industries, any customer service related industry is really incredibly important. But that was certainly a highlight and really started us on this journey and gave us that opportunity to focus on the customer experience. But then again, I think more recently in 2021, when we got best of the best again, the fact that it was a much more conscious thing, we were much more aware and deliberate in terms of what we wanted to achieve, and then to actually achieve it as a result is just fundamentally very satisfying, and importantly, huge recognition for the team, because ultimately it's them that are putting in the hard yards to provide that experience for our customers.
Awesome. So Adam, one of the awards that you've taken out now 2 years in a row, so 2021 and 2022, was for Customer Service Executive of the Year Award. What advice can you give to some leaders out there that may be challenged by some customer service quality? What's some knowledge that you might be able to share with them that they can implement? Customer service really has to be in their DNA and absolutely a passion of theirs. It's got to be driven top down. There's a lot of organisations, a lot of great organisations at that speak to me at these awards nights and talk to me about how do we get our executives on board, how do we get our board buy-in, how do we get senior leadership to champion this. And that's a real challenge for a lot of people, a lot of organisations. Customer service cannot be done just at the grassroots level. It has to be an organisation-wide adoption. So for organisations that are really wanting to differentiate themselves on customer service and not just use it as a tagline or a slogan, but really live it, it's got to be something that their executive team absolutely take on board and are really passionate about. In a lot of the meetings, a lot of our time, Andy and our time is spent on making sure that we're championing these initiatives, really fostering the ideas that the team bring to us and saying, yeah, that's a really good concept, let's give it a go. And then more importantly, building a program of work as to what we're going to improve over the next 12 months. We can't rest on our laurels. We're already starting initiatives at the moment that we will use to improve customer outcomes for us over the next 1 to 2 years. Those initiatives are really being driven by us. The ideas come from team members, don't get us wrong. We don't have all the ideas, but making sure that we have buy-in and don't just leave it to others is fundamentally important. Yeah. So Andy, you would have seen some changes over the years. What's one that you resonates with you that you think has had one of the biggest impacts at CT?
The easiest answer to that question, I think, is just in terms of the people. And it sort of aligns to what Adam was saying about, driving that customer experience from the top down. A difficult thing for organisations who might be starting out on this journey is that there is a cost associated with it. If you truly want to provide a great experience for your customers, there's an element of cost that goes along with it. We, I guess, are very accustomed to that, and we're lucky, or partially lucky, but also partially rewarded for hard work, because that cost pays dividends for us in terms of our success and our growth, right? But the people themselves, making sure that we invest in them, grow them, and find the right ones, and we're not afraid also to make sure that a team has enough people to be delivering on that experience. Yes, on our services and the products that we have as well, but the experience around that as well, and making sure that we don't skimp on what they need to be able to do that.
Yeah. So Adam, you spoke to the growth that CT has had over the years. I would like to understand from your perspective what you think the customer service has played in that. And I suppose where I'm trying to go here is that it's one thing to be adding new customers. It's very difficult if you're losing them at the other end as well. So what role do you think customer service has played in that?
Fundamentally, I think it's an absolutely important piece to it. You can't put a line on a P&L and say, this is customer service and this is how I'll measure ROI. There's a lot of other metrics that go into it. I know I spend a lot of my time with customers. So from my perspective, hearing the feedback that we're getting from customers and making sure that resonates and I truly understand it and then bring that back to the business and work to fix it is a fundamental piece of what we're doing. But the return on investment for me is truly in our churn numbers. Our customer churn is incredibly low. And one thing that I've always struggled with for other businesses is why they have such enormous growth engines, sales machines that are bringing in new customers, and yet not focus on that churn rate at the other end. Like, selling to your existing customers is the easiest thing, and making sure that they are really happy and you're delivering an exceptional level of service seems, in my opinion, far more cost effective than going and constantly replacing that revenue. And so I think it's a fundamental difference for us that we absolutely focus on the partnership and getting longevity out of our customers, making sure that we're going above and beyond for them. We're creating a truly great experience and making it a great place to work for our team members as well. I mean, one of my other passions is Australian jobs and making sure that everything stays onshore, and we do that really, really well. And I think that's a good news story, again, from a customer experience perspective, number one. And number two, Aussies can really get behind that. We're an Aussie company. We started here. All of our people are here. 100% of our people are here. We're supporting the local economy in which we operate in. We've got growth behind that. And from a customer perspective, I think that really helps them to see the value in what we're doing.
Yeah, it's a really great point, Andy. I'd love to get your view on how we celebrate and reward great customer service. So Adam spoke about the staff that we have here at CT. What do we do to be able to foster that and celebrate it when there are examples?
Yeah, excellent. So we do it in a couple of different ways, both at an organisational level and then within the teams as well. At an organisational level, our association with the Customer Service Institute of Australia is not limited to rewards just for the organisation, but rather we nominate individuals and set teams as well who we believe are standout within our organisation, again, to make sure that we are comparing ourselves to what else is out there, in the service markets. So that's one way that the team is able to be recognised, but then also internally, each of our teams has their own rewards and recognition programs to make sure that we are continuing to highlight those just outstanding performers, the people who really do place the experience that our customers have above all else and just work so tirelessly to deliver on it.
Yeah, and what about, Adam, I know we do the monthly town halls, you often get up and celebrate an email that you've received from a customer. I imagine that would give you so much satisfaction and joy that you're able to share that, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it's great to see and feel the feedback, and most importantly, I think it's really important to pass that down to the team and make sure that they understand. I mean, they're the front line of this. So many of our team members put in enormous work, and they're the unsung heroes, I guess, in the overall scheme of things. But from a customer perspective, it's a whole machine that's working together to deliver these customer outcomes. We couldn't do it without these back-of-house teams, whether it be finance, whether it be operations, human resources, the service desk teams themselves, the operational delivery teams. All of these people play an enormous part in making CT what it is today and helping us to deliver on that experience. And so being able to pass that on and make sure we share in the wins and celebrate those wins is fundamentally important to what we do.
Yeah. So I want to close us off with a final thought for our listeners. So what's something, Andy, in your opinion, that some low-hanging fruit that a business who's listening to this right now could go and implement and get some return on?
Talk to your customers. I really think that's where it starts, and a great customer journey can be as simple as regular and ongoing conversations with your customers. Understand them, understand their organizations, their goals, what they want to do. The more that you can align with them, the more that you can partner with them and work with them to help achieve those things, there's the experience right there, right? Then your services, your products will naturally fit into that as part of helping to deliver or helping to achieve those goals. But that shared understanding, that shared goal is going to create amazing trust, and that trust is going to create an amazing experience, and not just for the customer, but for your organization as well.
Yeah. So Adam, from your perspective specifically here, I want to understand, is this something that you need to put a timeline on? Is it something that is just you have to have ingrained? I just don't want organisations to be listening to this going, yeah, that's great, but we're too big or we're too small. Give us some advice on what you think there.
Look, fundamentally, in my opinion, this is a lifelong journey. You can't set up a 3-month program of work and go, yep, we're going to fix our customer service, and at the end of that, we're done, like we're finished, right? No, if you want to compete and you want to be around as an organisation, in my opinion, in 3-5 years' time, then have long horizons. Really think about the journey. Now, you will see some of these quick wins. Some things you will see results from really quickly, in as short as 3 to 4 months. Other things you will see results in an even shorter time period, 1 to 2 weeks. And others, it'll take you years to see those results. But the one thing I'd really encourage businesses to think about is be obsessed and work absolutely night and day, focusing on removing the friction, right? Look at your customer journey, look at how your customers interact with your business, and figure out where there's friction. Where is it painful to deal with you? We often do this exercise. We look at every single team and go, oh, that's cumbersome, or that's hard. Now, it's hard to critique your own business. It's hard to be external eyes looking in. And Andy hit the nail on the head when he said, talk to your customers, because they'll often point you in that direction. But really dig in and understand, why are we making it so hard? Why do we do this? Why does this friction need to exist? Why is it hard for our team members to do this? And really focus on improve. Get rid of these obstacles. Get rid of any preconceived ideas that, oh yeah, we've done that for years, so we just have to do it. To me, that is literally bullshit and does not need to exist. Focus on how you can be better. Be the best. Pioneer it if you need to. But fundamentally, get rid of the friction.
Thanks, gents. I appreciate it. You are rounding out the 2022 year for us. So for those listening, I hope you have an amazing break over the holiday period. I hope you get a chance to spend some time with family. And gents, hope you have a chance to spend some time with your family, get some rest. Adam, put the laptop away. It's okay for 5 minutes.
He won't. Yeah. There's not a chance.
Awesome. All right. Thanks very much, guys.
Thanks, Dom.
Thanks, Dom. And well done on being a great host. It's been fantastic.
Thank you. Cheers.